and welcome to our last content video for this semester. We're going to be looking at part 2 of the spirit of health and wellness. Now this week we're going to basically review the 12 major classical world religions, and I can only emphasize a few things here. We're going to go over the content in an effort to try to basically understand that the spirituality can be secular or religious in nature, and having an understanding and appreciation for the 12 major classical religions can be both enlightening and informative. Now, this is important too. Please be aware that this textbook is in no way a comprehensive study on religion. However, you can certainly pursue that in an academic environment. And I should also point out that I'm really doing my best, and I'm not an authority on the different religions, and so I find some of the words used a struggle with pronouncing them correctly. So I'm going to begin by saying right off the get-go, I'm apologizing for any mispronunciations that I'm making on religious terms. Should you have a more accurate and better pronunciation or better knowledge of the religious groups, please email me or set up a virtual meeting with me, and I'm very interested in learning. Alright, so with that being said, let's begin a review of world religions in part 2, here in chapter 17, and this is our last video of the chapter and of this semester. Alright everybody, let's begin. So when we're going to look at classical world religions, you might ask yourself, what are these world classical religions? Fair question. You might know 4 or 5, but 12? Well, the major classical world religions, number 12. There are way more religious groups, of course, but these 12, however, world religions or practices share some common universal human values and seek to create more than just a sustainable world society. Many of the world religions also encourage health and wellness. And we're going to look at religions in Canada. Canada is a religiously diverse country, and you'll see in your textbook a graphic depicting self-identity survey results on self-identity and service attendance. Now, in addition, beside me is another survey results considering Canadian religion, age, gender, regarding religion and spirituality. Canadians tend to identify themselves as spiritual, almost twice as often as they identify as being religious. More than half of Canadians who embrace religion report that they attend religious services at least once a month. So it's just really emphasizing and reminding us that in Canada we are spiritual, we are religious, and we are diverse in those areas. Now, we will briefly review each of the 12 classical religions in Canada, so let's begin, and we're going to go through these in no particular order, and we're going to begin with a more Indigenous Canadians perspective. Now, Indigenous Canadians, the legacy of religious involvement is where we're going to focus, and in Canada, the Indigenous religious experience has been very mixed. The federal government had policies to remove Indigenous children from their families and communities. They were sent to church-run residential schools, while at these residential schools they were banned from expressing their own culture, language, and even some were physically and sexually assaulted. Now this period of time diminished the Indigenous connections to their culture, their language, family dynamics. Many have struggled to reconnect. As part of the indigenous healing, indigenous knowledge and spirituality have been guiding indigenous people for centuries in being acknowledged, celebrated, and put into practice. This is also in line with the recommendations in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. The second religion we'll look at is the Baha'i world faith. The Baha'i is a belief that there is a single God who sends prophets into the world through which the world of God is revealed. Baha'i faith was founded in the mid-1800s, where the teachings were considered very ahead of their time, particularly in the pursuit of world peace, democracy, and equal rights for women. I'm going to limit my dialogue on each religion as the text is limited, and it's not a world religion course, but it is to demonstrate that most religions do have this connection between health, mind, body, and spirituality. So let's move on to the next religion, Buddhism. Buddhism is the fourth largest religion in the world. Buddhism encourages the connection between both the natural world and the spiritual world. It has evolved two main forms. The Theravada Buddhism, also known as the Southern Buddhism, and the Mahayana Buddhism, also known as the Tibetan Buddhism, is led by the Dalai Lama, and it's probably somebody you're familiar with. A Tibetan monk who promotes nonviolence, compassion, religious harmony, and world peace, and a universal responsibility. We cannot escape responsibility for what we do. This is the process of karma, reaping what we sow, which can happen in this life or in the next life, according to Buddhism. In Buddhism, there are four noble truths. The dukkha, which means suffering does exist. The samudaya, there is suffering and there is a cause to suffering. Nirodha, this is the end of suffering, and magga is the end of suffering, and you follow the Eightfold Path. Now those you'll find in your textbook. One that probably most people are familiar with is Christianity. There are multiple meanings for the term Christian. It can mean any person or group who believes themselves to be Christian. What is common is the belief that the Yeshua of Nazareth, a Jewish preacher commonly referred to as Jesus Christ, and the Son of God. The Ten Commandments guide Christians as they live their lives. They are intended as a universal set of rules for all people to follow. Christians believe that there is a life after death, but the various Christian groups do not necessarily agree to the way souls are saved. The next religion we'll look at is Confucianism. Now you may have heard of Confucius. Confucianism is an ethical system by which certain rituals at specific times during one's lifetime are practiced. Confucian ethical teaching, along with the four life passages of which Confucian rituals are performed, are birth, reaching maturity, marriage, and death. Next is Hinduism. Now, Hinduism is the world's third largest religion, and it doesn't have a single founder or a central religious organization. Hindus recognize a single deity while honoring other gods and goddesses as manifestations or aspects of the supreme God. Most Hindus follow one of the two major divisions, Vaishnavism and Shaivism. The Hindus followed the aim of Hinduism. The aims of Hinduism include Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Karma determines how one lives one's next life. So I'm bringing it up now because I'm aware I probably messed things up, my pronunciation, so I am apologizing again for mispronunciations. Please do feel free to email me or set up a meeting to help me out. Islam. Islam is the youngest of the world's religions. If current trends continue, Islam will become one of the more popular world religions sometimes in the 21st century and moving past Christianity. Muhammad the Prophet met considerable opposition to his teachings, but did become the most powerful leader in Arabia, where Islam became firmly established. The two main texts Muslims consult are the Quran, the words of God, and the Hadith, a collection of sayings of Muhammad. The 6 fundamental beliefs of Islam are a single, indivisible God, the angels, the divine scriptures, the messengers of God, the day of judgment, and the supremacy of God's will. Muslims have duties to perform, and other practices, including the jihad, an attainment of a noble goal, which is a personal, internal struggle with oneself, rather than the commonly misunderstood as a holy war or a call against non-Muslims. I think we can benefit by learning about the diversity of religions. Most of us aren't very schooled or informed about other religions, and we have very little understanding. However, if we did have a better and more deeper understanding, we would see that there's more similarity than there are differences. Okay, so let's move on to one that you may not be very familiar with, Jainism or Jain Dharma. Jainists believe that the universe, which has not any particular beginning or any particular end, exists as a series of layers. There's a supreme adobe, an upper world, a middle world, and the nether world, the Nigoda, and the universal space and the space beyond. Now, Jainists are expected to follow the 5 principles of living: Hamisa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, and Aparigraha. Again, I'm sorry. Now, Judaism. Another one that maybe you're more familiar with, at least familiar on the surface. With Judaism, it originated as a divine covenant between God and the ancient Israelites and the prophet Abraham. Jews believe in one creator who was worshipped as the absolute ruler in the universe. Now, Jews follow what is known as the Tanakh, which is composed of 3 groups of books, including the Torah. They also follow the Talmud, which contains stories, laws, medical knowledge, and debates about moral choices. Now, another religious group within the 12 is Shinto. Shinto is an ancient Japanese religion closely connected to nature, and it recognizes the existence of kami and other nature deities. Now, there are 4 affirmations in Shinto. They are tradition in the family, love of nature, physical cleanliness, and what's known as Matsuri, the worship and honor given to the kami and ancestral spirits. Another religion that gets often misunderstood is Sikhism. Sikhism is sometimes believed to be part of the Hindu religious tradition. The goal of Sikhs is to build closeness, loving relationships with God. Sikhs believe in samsara, karma, and reincarnation. The image beside me offers an overview of these three. Now, the next one we'll look at is Taoism. Tao sometimes translates as the path. It's a force that flows through all life. If you're a believer, your goal is to become one with the Tao. Taoists do not pray to a god. They seek answers to life's problems through meditation and observation. There's a commitment to health and vitality, and the development of virtue is important. Taoists search for compassion, moderation, and humility. Utilitarianism. Now, this is not included as one of the lists on the classical religion in Canada, but it is considered an open-minded and alternative religion that has individualistic approaches which support a wide range of beliefs. Unitarians now, it's important to note, if you go searching for information about Unitarians, you're going to find Unitarian Universals, and it's not exactly the same thing. Unitarians are encouraged to search for meaning in life in a responsible way. At the heart of the utilitarian is the understanding that there is no set standard of belief. Therefore, people are all different faiths are welcome. There's a belief in one God. Unitarians have rejected the concept of the Trinity. The core belief is that God is present in every individual and in all parts of the nature's world. Unitarians were first church in Britain to accept women as ministers, and they also support equal rights for gays and lesbians. Okay, to sort of summarize, you can probably get an appreciation that all religions that we viewed, there are some similarities and there are some differences. What I would encourage is an invitation to health and wellness. You're invited to learn more about health and wellness and how your lifestyle choices affect your personal potential. You're invited to continue to live well, explore, challenge yourself and your beliefs. Search for and choose healthfully. Physically activities, health, nutrition, and spirituality. As you make your way through your life stages that are ahead of you, I hope you make good choices, that you explore the world around you and search for what it is that's important for you. Let that be your guide about what you do and how you choose to pursue a healthy nutritional, healthy physical activity, and healthy spirituality. Good luck, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this course. I really enjoyed teaching it, and I've enjoyed learning as I've gone through it. Like I've said, if you have information that will help me understand better a religion that I have misspoken in terms of pronunciation, please educate me. I am a learner for life, and I hope you will become one too. Bye for now, everybody, and good luck. All right, test, test, test. Here we go. There's a belief in one God. Unitarians have rejected the concept of the Trinity. The core belief is that God is present in every individual and all parts of nature's world. Unitarians have the first church in Britain to accept women as ministers, and they also support equal rights for gay and lesbians. All right, now to sort of summarize, you can probably get an appreciation that all of the religions that we've reviewed, there are some similarities and there are some differences. What I would encourage is an invitation to health and wellness. You're invited to learn more about health and You're invited to learn more about health and wellness and how your lifestyle challenges You're invited to learn more about health and wellness and how your lifestyle choices affect your continued personal potential. You're invited to continue to live well, explore, challenge yourself and your beliefs, search for and choose healthfully, physically activities, healthy nutrition, and spirituality as you make your way through your life stages that are ahead of you. I hope that you will make good choices and that you will explore the world around you and search for what it is that's important to you. Let that be your guide about what you do and how you choose to pursue a healthy nutrition, healthy physical activities, and healthy spirituality. I hope you have enjoyed this course. I've really enjoyed teaching it and enjoyed learning as I've gone through it. And like I've said, if you have information that will help me understand better a religion that I've misspoken in terms of pronunciation, please educate me. I am a lifelong learner, and I hope you will become one too. Bye for now, everybody. Good luck.